Hi, this is Cobra Strack here, Dr. Strack, just to say that I had a great function today in Lastow, County Kerry. I arrived after the newspapers, so I was delighted that I wasn't spotted because I did hear now on the grapevine that there was a great feeling that in Kerry that the media had, we won't say colluded, but there was a certain amount of media silence that was unfair to many candidates. And this has been something I haven't raised before, but I suspected media silence. And the question is, are the media also being controlled by party command? In particular, their owners or their the people that are paying their salaries, are they also under command and control? I mean, where does this leave us? State-controlled TV or controlled by other people where people know the limits, that they cannot go against the status quo. I mean, I actually am trying to get to the bottom of that. What is the reason for the media silence? So there's more to it than meets the eye, but certainly my own concerns about Kerry have been corroborated by other people from Kerry independently, why certain people got all the media attention and other people who made equally good presentations got none or better, even as viewed independently. So this was my experience going from county to county as well, in many places, except I wouldn't have known as many people as I would have known in Kerry who would have been able to give me their own particular perspective. So these are allegations, of course, but very serious allegations of media silence. And the reason behind media silence is it media control, or is it government interference? And again, interference with the free press, or is it something else? So this is another major jigsaw puzzle that I haven't resolved. But certainly, would that not be another block? The media block? Have we actually integrated that into our arguments? The media block on independence, that might be regarded as academic whistleblowers, or not showing not certain to do a particular party line, or do what the status quo wants. So it's a very serious issue, media control and media blocking, if this is what is going on. But I'm a lot of media people are political correspondents. They're not legal, they're not legal people. So I suppose they wouldn't be able to maybe handle the legal questions as well as the political questions. So that's a fair point. But you'd imagine that the newspapers would have legal experts, and that they will be able to make commentary, and perhaps the legal advice is that they can't. But certainly, in the cases like where in the local county councils where it seems that certain individuals who didn't make presentations as good as others, or where other presentations were equally good if not better, and that they weren't covered, it does suggest a bias against a lot of independent candidates, and it does infer some kind of questions to be asked by the media. Also today, a Garda, or a retired Garda, very senior fellow in a podcast, was saying that one of the young Burkes in an NUIG or UOG, University of Galway, was asking a question of Miss Connolly, and he was removed by the Gardaí. I mean, he did absolutely nothing wrong, and it was kind of given the impression that he'd breached the peace. So this Gardaí, or a senior ex-Gardaí, was more or less saying there was questions to be asked there about the behaviour of the guards involved, and that it should be examined by a council. And I agree with that. That this seems to be undue interference with the political process, and stitching up this one, and making out that he was, abusing the law, and that he was in the breach of peace, and stitching him up, and embarrassing him, and all the rest of it, and for asking a very reasonable question. And this is very concerning, that the Gardaí would be interfering as well. So not only have you government interference, but you have Gardaí interference, which is highly questionable in something where they should have kept their hands off all of these political candidates, so anybody that speaks out against the establishment is in breach of public order. I mean, is this acceptable in a democracy? Or is this part of
orchestrated collusion. I mean, it's very, very serious, I think. And this Gardaí, the senior retired Gardaí, made these points in a podcast, and he must know how the Gardaí work. And he was actually saying, that there needs to be some investigation of this case in the University of Galway about, kind of constructing this breach of peace issue, which was manipulated to give that impression, when in fact it was just one of the Burkes asking a very reasonable question, which was not answered because the person said that Miss Connolly said she was not prepared to answer any questions where they hadn't been screened by her before. So, and it was a reasonable question, I understand it. And he just got up and asked a question, was escorted out of the hall, and that's encroaching freedom of expression. I mean, that's not acceptable by Gardaí. And is there a Garda instruction from party origins to do this? I mean, is the commissioner involved? I can't see how the commissioner could be doing this sort of thing, and he's only new in his job, so I can't see how the commissioner could be authorising such. I mean, it would be very serious for a commissioner to be involved in this, of someone of his ilk, to be involved in this kind of orchestrated, this sort of orchestrated, issue about. It would. I mean, I can't see how Commissioner Justin Kennedy would be involved in authorising these kind of stitch up of breach of orders, breach of the peace, stitch ups, to try and discredit somebody from asking a reasonable question or remove them from any kind of question or accountability of a potential future president, or somebody that's going for election at the moment.